Hello, my fellow readers. I'm Dark67 with the fanfiction review. As always, I like to throw in the description below. Please like to do this. Click on that bell for notifications. Leave a comment in the comment section below on your thoughts on the story. And finally, this is my opinion. My opinion is not indicative of everyone in the world, so please respect that. Before I get into the review, I have the face cam back. I've been wanting to use this for a while, but where I was living wasn't exactly the most clean place. Not my fault. More my landlady is a hoarder, and most of her junk is in the garage where I'm sleeping. So it's really really messy in there because of all the junk. But she's not here, and I'm now occupying a completely different room, mainly just so I have my somewhere to put my laptop and all that. So I'm taking advantage. I'm taking advantage. That being so, until possibly someone else moves in here, I'm going to be using the camera. But I don't know about the gaming stuff. But we have a fan fiction review. So this is Replacement by Raven Starfire. It is a Kim Possible fan fiction, and I think it's like one of three Kim Possible fan fiction I'm going to be reviewing this year. I know one is one about Shigo being a samurai, and the other one's like a weird porn parody of like Kim Possible. It's like, oh, Ron gets all the ladies, and it's like and it's like I think it's like goofy as balls, if I remember right. I hope I'm right on that, but it's supposed to be like just a very over the top kind of like a porn sort of deal. Like, oh, it's goofy, but this we're not talking about either of those fiction. We're talking about Replacement by Raven Starfire. Oh boy, oh boy. So, a little background on the story. Uh, I've been reading fan fiction since around 2011. And over like the first couple years, I did nothing but like read specific fanfics of fandoms, and Kim Possible was one of them. I really liked Kim Possible. I liked a lot of fanfiction. Not all the fanfictions were really that well done. There were some that were like really bad, but then but I was going to grab a bunch of fan fictions to review for this year. I remember, like, wait a minute, wasn't there a fan fiction where Shigo gets de-aged, and I thought that was neat when I was younger. It's like, let me go see if I can find it. And it took several days to find it. I eventually did, and I read it, and then I realized, wow, this fic sucks, and I regretted ever reading it, but I gotta review it mainly because I'm not done with this yet. Hold on. There. Like, I'm only doing this because I haven't finished the Doki Doki fic yet. This fic is just such a weird missed opportunity because if you ever read this fic, because of course nobody reads fics I send because I'm like a link to them. I can encourage people to read them. And that's nitpick. It's a nitpick. I'm not gonna fault people for not reading the fic. I review. Sorry, it's like almost 11 at night. You could almost like when I read the story again for this review, I thought, hold on, this story, yes, the story's bad. I'm gonna leave it right out the gate. Story's bad, but it had a lot of potential to be a really good idea. And I thought, hey, maybe it'd be more interesting to talk about than I thought. So I actually finished the fic. It wasn't that long, so like 57,000 words. So, what is the story about? So the plot follows after the events of the Kim Possible movie, so the drama. More specifically, the ending where Kim and Ron are like dating and all that. Shigo is off her rockers because she's completely pissed that Kim and Ron are dating. And so she inadvertently puts the idea into Draken's head. It's like, oh, Shigo said she can do a better job convincing Kim to do stuff. I do. And so Draken makes the aging rate, blasts at Shigo, turns her into a teenager again, and I just said, go, just go, go, go and roll in the middle to high, and try and keep Kim busy, just distract her. Oh dang, I'm not. Uh. Meanwhile, Kim and Ron, they're the sparks of like the events of the movie. They kind of worn off, and now they're just kind of decided to break up, still be friends, but break up. And then eventually, Shigo, disguised as Sheenan G. O'Reilly, yes, it's very on the nose, enrolls in Milton High, and actually become like kind of gets like a little thing where she gets to live with Kim and her family. They meet her. Ron immediately doesn't trust her because, hey, that looks like Shigo. It's like, no, it doesn't. Yes, it does. No, it doesn't, Ron. Yes, it does, Kim. And the rest of the story kind of just follows this pattern of Kim and Shigo just kind of hanging out. While Ron doesn't trust Shigo because he believes that this mysterious chick who has pale green skin and can light green plasma on her hands is Shigo, despite the fact everyone's saying she's not Shigo, despite all these similarities. You see why I'm getting why this is bad. Is not Shigo. Meanwhile, in the background, Draken is doing something involving Motorhead and a mysterious accomplice. Spoiler, it's this random bitch just completely out of fucking nowhere. And it involves the director of Global Justice and like all these random ass shenanigans. And then we find as the story goes on, we find out Draken's weird whack ass plan is just I'm going to reverse the roles of Kim and Shigo. So Shigo becomes the hero. I'm going to have to get rid of both my villains at the same, all my obstacles at the same time. I make Shigo into the hero, so that way everyone's constantly watching her. So that way, the moment everyone figures out, hey, it's Shigo, they just boom, rest her, Wonder Woman of the world, and then have this specific hire like all these people to like that because Kim gets like actually goes to like different parts of the world to like due to helping other people around like with like menial jobs, and she decided and Draken takes advantage of that by having by bribing one of the guys who she uses as like transportation to take Kim near Dr. Dementor. So that way, there's like an alibi for why Dr. Dementor just randomly dies. It's like, no, it's Kim. Yeah, because she was there. And trying to turn her into like a murderer and get her into jail to get her out of the way. It's like, that's not a bad idea. Like, we're like, Draken creating this like implausible scenario of reversing their roles forcibly not because he like for shits and giggles, like because he deliberately realizes by doing this he reverses their roles. That way he can get both of them out of the way so he can actually be able to finish his plan. And I thought that's not a bad idea, especially since you can do it in like a whole Shigo becomes good sort of way. But how my noses. Healthy. And especially once you take into context of the drama. So the reason this is actually a cool idea is specifically due to the context of some of the drama. So famously, Draken has a weird habit of constantly telling Shigo his plans all the time. But for the movie to kind of show how kind of like he's determined he is to do this, he doesn't let Shigo in on the plot.
What is he up to? A toy design, top secret cybertronic technology, synthrodrome personality and performance upgrades, and teen scene junk? What is he gonna do? Throw the world's weirdest pajama party?
You really haven't figured it out, have you?
There is no plan here. No way.
Oh, but there is.
Spill!
No!
Why not?
Kim Possible is not smarter than you.
True.
If you can't figure it out, she can't figure it out. And that means...
You just might win.
Oh, I'm quite confident.
Yeah, shame that plane just went up in smoke because of Rodness. Impossible as hell. It is a show. So, Draken realizing, hey, if I kept everything from Shiga the first time and nearly won, keep in mind, he nearly won, what would happen if I get Shiga out of the way? That might work. So, it's such a weird thing, like seeing this weird whack ass plan, like because ultimately in the context of the story, his plan is not only to replace Kim and Shigo, so that way he gets both of them out of the way. So everyone's watching Shigo and Kim's in jail for something she didn't do. Draken more or less redoes the plan from Solar Drama, but tweaks it where he fixes all of the issues that caused his plan to fail. So he made like instead of putting it in basically his plan until the drama was he steals like a bunch of blueprints for like these toys, and he has these signals all around the world that he uses to turn these little toys into unstoppable machines that basically just destroy anything. And nothing could literally defeat these robots. These things were so tough that like Kim, the person whose whole mantra is "I can do anything," could not beat them. Even when she actually got the suit, because the movie is when they introduced like that really broken ass suit that they gave her. And even with the suit augmenting like everything, like giving her even making her even stronger, more durable, more faster, she couldn't do it, and she had to take down. They had to actually take down the signals in order to turn the robots off. This time Draken has the same project with the signal, but inside into cars that are driven by his cousin Motor Ed. But also each robot is piloted by humans. So that way, if the signal goes down, they're still going to work because there's going to be someone manually piloting them. These signals are inside the car, so that way they're not a sitting target in order to take down. It's like, okay, it's a neat lesson of learning from your mistakes. And like it's such a weird thing when Draken only really lost because of his own stupidity. Like in such a mind-numbingly weird way, because this story's length, like because this story really needs to be longer, and that like the length of this story causes so many problems. Once you critically think about the story just completely falls apart because nothing makes sense in the story. Like for instance, take Tara. What does she have to do with the story? Nothing. Nothing. She's just randomly turns into a bad guy. At least with like Bonnie, like you can see part of Bonnie right here on the picture. She's like right here, the brown hair. At least with like those stories where Bonnie turns evil, there's like a reason behind it because she was like Kim's like bully, and then Kim Jong just gets her kicked out of school, and Bonnie's like, "Oh, I'm going to go off the deep end for get her kicking me out of school and not making me popular anymore." Ah, no! At least, sure, it was stupid, but at least it made sense. This is just, she's just kind of upset that she was like third in cheerleading squad, and her whole thing was like, I just want to be the head cheerleader. So stupid. It's so stupid. It's such a it's it's such a weird thing. Like, oh, I like the sex stories and stuff like that. But there comes a time where you come across a fan fiction you think could have been better, and this is like one of them. Like, it's this close to being that good because it had the idea, the plot was there, the core concept was there. It's just there's so many dumb decisions for one, making it short, two, having the entire plan rely on like Tara just randomly turning evil with like no build up. She's just there. Like, I mean, you can make an argument like, okay, they're doing like a spoiler for like the body turning evil thing because that was like a thing that happened a lot during this time frame, like body turning evil. All right, and it's like instead of Bonnie, it's like her dumb friend. But it still doesn't make any sense because Tara just doesn't show up at all. She only shows up like one time as like a cheerleader in the football scene where she goes playing football, and that's it. And there's like other dumb decisions too, like Kim refusing to be Ron's friend because he's constantly going, no, I don't trust that chick. That looks like Shigo. I think that's Shigo. Like, no, Ron, we're gonna stop being friends. Why? Because you refuse. You keep saying she's Shigo, and then the next chapter is like, oh, I knew you were Shigo all this time. So why? Why would you write Kim and Ron not being friends anymore? Like, honestly, that whole aspect of the plot would have been better if like Kim just told Ron, like, I know she's Shigo, but I want to see, but she's not really acting like Shigo, and had like a realistic reaction to the whole thing. And then there's like how Draken gets defeated. Okay, just picture this: Draken and Terra are in a modified jet that was designed with nanotechnology and was designed to withhold a guy with super strength and Shigo's brother, and also incredibly heat resistant to withstand Shigo's power. So it's a fucking jet that even Kim Possible with not only the power suit but also the Centurion project, which is in universe a mobile WM mobile armory that goes over Kim Possible's suit to give her even more firepower. She's doing jack shit to it. Even Ron, who has a suit as well, neither one of them are doing fuck all in terms of damage. And then another robot shows up, just randomly operated by Will Dew's brother, Kendu. I just realized the fucking pun. I read that name so many times, it took until now to realize there's a fucking pun on Kendu. Wow. Back. Kendu shows up in one of the other machines that he managed to get away from Motor Ed, and like, okay, you're done. What does Draken do? Does he fight? Does he flee? No! He decides we're going to fucking self-destruct the mobile fortress you're technically in. Because again, this thing was built to withstand a guy with super strength, a guy that can lift a building. Like I'm pretty sure he goes like Mr. Incredible's levels of strength. Like he can lift up a ton of shit, no matter how heavy. I think he does have limits, but I can't remember what those limits are. Point is, this is a guy that this is a jet robot thing that can take punishment from him. And so the moment of the robot shows up, a robot I'm pretty sure Draken can take on face to face and win. In his eyes, no. I'm just gonna self-destruct this thing. Miss inputs the self-destruct sequence, so it brings 10 seconds to 20. It blows up. Tara dies. She gets mauled by her two pet poodles that actually trained as like attack dogs. And Draken just goes to jail because he's like, my Tara poof! I must jump to kill myself to save you. No, you're going to jail. No. It's such a weird thing. Oh, and then Wade just says, I'm not part of Team Possible anymore because you didn't save my mom. When, like, earlier in the story, it's like, he literally dies before Kim and Ron even know, well, Kim, Ron, and Shigo even know where they are. Just, like, it's such a weird, this is such a weird scenario because I like the idea, I like the core concept, but it's so mangled in execution because there's just so many stupid decisions. I haven't talked about like the characters. I'm still just talking about the plot. Characters. What characters? There's just, I mean, they're standard fare for like a Kim Possible fanfic. Kim Possible acts like Kim Possible. Ron Unstoppable acts like Ron Unstoppable. Shigo acts like Shigo. We get the typical Draken goes off the deep end and kind of just becomes a psycho sort of deal. Like that's like, honestly, that's like one of the most common things you see in a lot of Kim Possible fics. Just Draken going off the deep end and just, oh, I'm not just a mad scientist. I'm just mad now. And just shoot someone, turns into the Joker and shit like that. Okay, that's like, I've seen that a dozen times, probably more than a dozen. Now I think about it. Draken is fine. Like the character, at least Draken's the best written character. But then you have Kim and Shigo. This is supposed to be a romance thing. You know what the first thing they do when they decide to hook up? They just have sex. In a submarine, in a hidden submarine compartment. They don't even kiss. There's no build up to like any declarations of love. No, they just go straight to sex. Oh, they go straight to Sezgi and Lex. Like the relationship is just so off-putting because it feels more like they love each other or like the sex, and it brings us as more lust than love. I was like, okay, if it was like a M-rated fic and you did like the sex, all right. But this is T-rated, and it just comes off as like really shallow and off-putting. The fact that like their first romantic anything is just straight up, we're just having sex. It's such a weird decision. And then like there's a lot of characters are just inconsistent. Like again with Tara, there's nothing to even hint towards her being evil. I mean, if you want to work it as a swerve, then you should have just had her be in the story more. But she was just so inconsequential to the story. It kind of just comes off as like just trying to do something like the whole swerve with the Bonnie thing. And Ron is shallow. Kim Possible's family is shallow. Wade is shallow. The only character that's actually really good is Draken. Like the idea, like his character thought the story, like him slowly descending into like complete and utter madness of, especially since a lot of his parts are like pure like not even like showing what he's doing, just pure dialogue, is honestly at least a decent touch that kind of highlights how unhinged he's become. I think that's fine. I think Draken is easily the best written character in the story. Not saying much because it's not a high bar. No, we take what we get. Um, Grammar wise, I think grammar's fine. Pacing wise, this is where the story being so short really kind of fucks with, because there's a lot of parts that just feel disconnected. Like when Kim's in jail, let's see if I can find it. Should be around here. No, it should be. No, a little bit. Um, right here. I think right here. No, this chapter, I believe. Yeah, around here. I think around here, right? Yeah, right here. Like she's completely just dragged in, sent to jail, and literally, like almost immediately, it just kept to a week because he's trying to figure out how did why did Draken just hijack the graduation? No, a random school day when kids about to go to jail, like to just randomly shoot Bonnie Rockweiler, and she like, oh, it just skips to a week where she's like, oh, he's doing it to go to Shigo. I can get it or no. It just feels rushed and off putting because we should have had some more development. Like, oh, she's interacting with the other villains, like Duff Killigan and Fergal Lucre in like jail, and see how they reacting to Kim in jail and stuff like that. But no, it just randomly skips, and that's like a thing with a lot of this story. Is it just skips a lot of stuff that you would want to see just to kind of keep it as short and as compact as possible, and it just didn't really work. This is a example of a story that really needed time to build, and I think the author probably didn't believe they were good enough to fulfill that promise. So just kind of kept it as condensed and tight as possible, and that just completely backfired on the story. At least that's just my opinion on things. So where does that leave the story? Would I recommend this story? No, I do think the story being short and being just too compact and like all the flaws revolve like splintering from that doesn't really want to make you recommend the story. Like I said, it has a good idea. It is a really good idea, and the idea is as executed well as I think it can be in this context. But it just this was something that really could have been done better if the author let the story breathe and just extend it. That's really what I would honestly fix about this story. There's no favorite part of the story. It's not. Just have everything just extended so that way you have more time to build up everything. Because I think, like I said, there is a great passage throughout the story that kind of just builds upon each idea that easily could have been done well. And it's not because the author wanted this story to be short. And I honestly think is the worst situation to happen with the story. It just got cut short because the author more likely didn't believe they were good enough to write a longer story. How long do I think this story should have been? Probably double the length. Like I can easily see the story going about like anywhere from it's almost 60,000 words, probably like either anywhere from like 100,000 to like 130,000 to kind of to get like as much as you can to just extend and weave everything together, like with Kim realizing, well, everyone realizing that she and Shigo, like they don't trust her. You could have easily done that, except for like the mom, except for Mrs. Castle because she's kind of naive. Uh, like showing Shigo actually joining football. Uh, Draken's like slow descent into madness, like Motorhead, and maybe like showing how he like got his thing, like how he got his fingers wrapped up with Betty Director. There's so much that could have been added to the story to kind of flesh out that really would have made it pop and really would have made it worth a read. But I don't. But as it stands right now, I don't think it is. And there's even like a sequel. I was like, I'm not doing a sequel. If this was this quality, I'm not gonna take a chance with the sequel. Just ignore it. Sequel doesn't exist in my mind. But I do know that has something to do with like Wade turning evil or something like that, like dumbest way possible, like zombies and stuff like that. But that is my review of Replacement. So I will see you next time. This has been Dark Symphony 777 and cut.